What's up, all you gun nuts out there? Today we're going to be changing this to this.
My name's Steven. I'm the armor slash gunsmith here at Texas Gun Club. And today I'm gonna swap out this handguard here for a free float M-lock handguard. And the free float M-lock handguard, well, just a free float handguard in general, it's gonna improve accuracy, mainly because the barrel free floats inside the handguard, so nothing touches it. So you can bend and maneuver the rifle however you want without the barrel actually moving, which in turn you'll lose accuracy. But the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna clear the gun so that we know we can start working on it. So to do that, take our charging handle, pull it back, look down in the chamber. There's nothing in there, so now we can start work. The first thing I wanna do is I wanna separate the upper, which is this piece, and the lower. And to do that, I'm gonna flip her over. Our pivot pin, we're gonna punch this out, and our takedown pin. Now the upper and lower is separated. First, we're gonna take out our bolt carrier, and our charging handle, set that to the side because we don't need that. After that, we're gonna take off our plastic pickle grip handguard and get rid of it. So the first thing we need to do is push down on this delta ring here. Do that, push down on it, and then these half pieces should just fall right out. And the next thing we want to do is we want to remove the taper pins from our gas block here. Get a handy dandy micrometer, because these are, one side is bigger than the other. So if you try and bash them out on one side and it's not going anywhere, that means you're just driving it into the gas block more, which in turn is going to make it harder for it to get out. So you can take your micrometer or a little machinist ruler and just measure the end and check the other side. And this is the small side, so it has to come out this way. So we're going to take our punch and our hammer, drive that out, flip it over, drive that one out. Next, you don't have to use one of these, but it makes time go by pretty quick. This is called a reaction rod. You stick your rod in your vise and insert the whole upper onto the rod, and now we can do what we want with it. So the next thing we need to do is we need to get off this gas block, or I'm sorry, the A2 flash hider. And for that, you're gonna need a 3/4 inch box wrench, or you can use your armorer's wrench. Either way, it still comes off. So take off the muzzle device and the crush washer. Set that aside because we're going to need that later. And then your gas block should just pull off. If you've been shooting your gun a lot, it's going to take some doing to get that off because the carbon is going to lock it on there. Next, we need to get off our barrel nut. And to do that, you're going to need an armorer's wrench or a breaker bar with a special barrel nut wrench. So to do it, you need to get the little spline teeth, and we're going to need to push the delta ring as we put some torque on it. So now we got that loosened, just take it off. Barrel nut delta ring comes off. You need to take the barrel out. I'm just going to hold on to the barrel and use a rubber mallet to tap the barrel out of the receiver. If you want to put grease back on the barrel, the barrel extension and the threads that the barrel nut was on. And when we're doing that, we want to clean it and then re-grease it. So now that the barrel's out, we're going to take a rag or a used t-shirt or something. We're just going to clean off the barrel extension right here, get all that old grease out, clean the barrel, or I'm sorry, the receiver, get all that old grease out of there. And then we're going to grab our new barrel nut. Now these are proprietary to whatever handguard you have. Some of them look the same, most of them are different. on the way they have to be tightened down, but we'll get to that. So you're going to take your grease. It can be any kind of grease, really. Be liberal with it. A dab will do you. Want the inside of the barrel extension, or sorry, receiver extension, and on the threads here. Now we're going to mate the barrel and receiver back together. Now there's an index pin right here. That indexes in the receiver hole right there. So it only goes in one way.
All right, keep going.
We can put our receiver back onto the reaction rod. We're going to take our barrel nut, tighten this down. And this is what I was talking about. These special wrenches, they're proprietary to whatever handguard you get. 9 times out of 10, the handguard you buy is going to come with the wrench that you need. What it won't come with is a torque wrench. And this is important because you don't want to just crank down on your barrel nut, because then you'll never get it off. And you have to put a certain amount of torque on this, otherwise it'll come loose while you're shooting, and you don't want that. Set it to 40 foot-pounds, and that'll give us enough torque to make sure that the barrel is secured to the receiver and to make sure that it won't come undone. So get it hand tight as much as you can. Take your torque wrench and just tighten it until it clicks. We have enough torque, and that's it. The next thing we need is our gas block. So to do this, swapping out your A2 gas block to a free float handguard, you're going to need a low profile gas block, because if we try to put this gas block back on, it's obviously not going to fit because it's way too big. Now to put this together, you need your gas tube, because it's 2 parts. The gas tube and the gas block. And they're held together by this pin here. When you're doing it, you need to make sure that the gas tube is orientated in the correct position. There's a little bend here that you can see. The bend needs to go up. So we're going to set that pin so we can install the gas block. We're going to make sure that those pins are flush on each side. Wipe off any excess grease. And we're going to take our set screws before we put that on the gas block, or I'm sorry, on the barrel. We need to undo our set screws, and most people will just put red Loctite on them. That's fine. Or Loctite breaks down with heat. I like to use rock set, but to each their own. It's not a thing of, oh, you have to do it this way. Red Loctite will get the job done. And you only need a little bit, just a drop. Make sure it gets on the threads. Screw that back in, not all the way, because we need to set the gas block. Set those about halfway. Now if you look here, there's a hole in your barrel. That is your gas port. The hot gas comes out this hole through the gas block, back through the gas tube, and that's what cycles your gun. So you need to make sure that you orientate the gas block onto your gas port. Take your gas block, insert it, back it all the way to the shoulder here, and time it by looking down the barrel and making sure that the tip of the gas block is in line with the gas hole on the receiver. So we're good. Should look something like that. Flip your receiver upside down. Now we're going to set the set screws. Make sure that your gas block doesn't wiggle or come out of time. Tighten those down. And that Loctite should take about 12 hours to cure, so you don't want to go shooting this until that's cured. Next, we're going to take our handguard. This one specifically has a bunch of screw holes all around it, so you can orientate your handguard whichever way you need to. Like I said, these are going to be proprietary per handguard you get, and they're going to be a little different. But this one just slides over the top, and you want to make sure when we tighten it down, that the handguard and the receiver are in line with each other. You don't want a crooked receiver that looks like that or something like that. You want them to be nice and straight. Since there's a bunch of holes on the gas port, or I'm sorry, on the barrel nut, when you line up the screw holes, the receiver is crooked. So since we have a wide range of torque we can put on the barrel nut, we can tighten this just a little bit more to get it centered the way we want. And that's what we're gonna do. Get those. And that's what we want to see. So now, to keep your handguard from coming undone, we're going to put a blue Loctite. We put blue Loctite because red is permanent. We don't want that. So on this handguard, there's six machine holes, machine screw holes. And there's no torque spec, just make them hand tight. The Loctite will do the rest of the work. Rotate it around. Now that we got our handguard installed, the last thing we need to do is put on our muzzle device. So we're going to take our crush washer, put it back on the barrel. Now there's a tapered side and a flat side, and it matters which side goes on where. So you can kind of see which end is tapered and which end is flat. You want the tapered end to go that way. Put that on the barrel. And our muzzle device, our flash hider, screw that on. And then you want to time this neutral, which means all the ports are going to be sticking straight up. So to do that, we look down the barrel, tighten it until the flash hider is in time. And that will look something like that. You see how all the ports are straight up. And that's it. You've just installed your free float handguard, so it's going to improve your accuracy and it's going to cool down a lot quicker. Now we're going to put it back together. First goes our charging handle, bolt carrier. Take our upper and our lower, marry them together. And that's it. Now you have a free float handguard. Cut.
As he said though, the thread lock has to cure for about 12 hours, so we're not going to be able to shoot it today. So what I'm going to do is come back next week and then we'll do the demo shoot on that. So this is definitely going to be a to be continued video. Steve, thank you, sir.
Yeah, well,
I appreciate it. Anybody want to get their gun done, man, or any work on their gun, if you're in the local area, come to Texas Gun Club, man. Steve is the man. He will get you done right. So I appreciate you, Steve, for everything you do. We will come back and shoot this thing next week, so to be continued. Until next time, love yourself, love each other. Peace.